Why, hello everyone, and how are you all doing today? Today, we are going to be reading through Ego Death Ceremony Guide. Yep, that's what it's called. As our continuance on our ascension journey and doing our 5D full disclosure deep dive. If you missed Thursday's live stream, please go ahead and check it out. During that live stream, during our awakening training, we were told to do the ego ceremony. So of course, without further ado, I'll roll my intro, and then I'll explain to all of you what that is. That's right, we're having a funeral for our egos. So as you can see, it's called the Ego Death Ceremony Guide, kind of somber. A guide to ego dissolvement and transformation. Very teeny tiny letters. And it's by the New Earth Transitionary Government.org. I am going to say this is one of the prettier looking ones. So there's that. What is the ego? The ego represents everything love is not. The ego is programmed to only focus on lower consciousness realities and thoughts. It sees everything as negative. This can be seen by humanity's deep embodiment of shame, guilty, not guilt, guilty, fear, unworthiness, and lack of self-love. The ego looks at any situation and finds what is wrong with it, and wrong is in quotation, so is it wrong? Rather than seeing everything as a miracle and lesson or blessing, as love does. Because humanity is still living in the ego programming, they can only project and see the negative in everyone and everything around them, but they cannot see that they themselves are the problem. That is the ultimate flip. The last short video that I made as part of this 5D full disclosure deep dive was Victim to Victor. Hopefully you've already gone through that one, but it continues on in this one with that victim blaming and shaming mentality. The ego can never be satisfied or fulfilled. It seeks external things to fill the hole that can never be healed until it looks at itself and acknowledges all the ways in which it is self-sabotaging through delusion, avoidance, and projection. The ego is a black hole that sucks the life force from the being. And in turn, the being needs to take energy from others around them in order to sustain. And we got this image of the brain here, you know? One of the biggest ways in which the ego tries to fulfill itself is through food and sleep. This is why there are so many who can eat endless amounts of food but still be hungry, or sleep many hours per night and still be tired. The ego is a parasite that sucks and sucks without any ending. It's a succubus. What is the ego? Humanity has no self-sustaining source connection. Remember, source is Mother God, because they are still in the illusion of separation from God and from the oneness energies. The biggest addiction on this planet is to energy. This was the product of the ego program constantly needing to steal energy from others in order to continue to survive. This is done through control dramas and trying to manipulate and power over others. So all of my drama is because of the ego. Okay. The ego feels entitled to things, especially the energy of others. So succubus. The ego believes it deserves something from everyone. This is the flip that keeps humanity in lack consciousness and unwilling to give to others. In true reality, everything is an equal energy exchange. Universal law states that when you give, you receive. When one is living in the heart in love, it gives freely out of love and receives abundance in return. So pretty! Look at these little flowers and stuff. There's a ball with the word ego. The ego expects others to do the work and feels that they have done enough, or it's not my problem. That is the disease of separation. The ego is cut off from feeling, so it has no awareness of what is going on around them, which is the opposite of love, who has full feeling and consciousness in all moments. The ego always needs to know things, as it has no trust or faith. It is always asking the same questions when it already has the answers because it wants proof. Yep, again, just throw out your logical thinking and critical thinking. True love trusts in God and the divine plan and has full faith that they will be taken care of. Now we're getting into the good stuff. The ego death ceremony. That's right, we're having a funeral for our egos. Write out your ego death ceremony and include all ego traits you know need to dissolve. Then burn your ceremony with intention and allow the energy to release. I guess these guys didn't do grammar check and spelling check either. So here's an example ceremony. They say an example ceremony is below. So you're supposed to do your own version of this now. And I guess you say, beautiful angels, I am so thankful for all your loving support and guidance. I am so grateful that my ego has died. That's not usually something you think you're going to say, that you're grateful somebody died or something died, right? That all remaining false, illusionary ego programming has been transmuted in accordance with the highest will. That my right brain has overtaken my left brain. That my pineal gland has come online and has been activated. Thank you, angels. I love you. I release the following ego traits. And then it says, reflect on the following ego traits and which ones you feel you need to transform. Lack of wisdom, attachment to people, places, and things. Yes, you're supposed to cut the cords or sever all attachment to people in your life. Lack of experience, lack of compassion, taking from humanity and the planet, lack of passion, lack of perception, incubus and succubus energy, the taking of energy through words, touch, sex, and other abilities, childhood trauma, lack of integrity, childish behavior, lack of honor, robotic habits and behavior, lack of empathy, disrespect or hatred towards the feminine or masculine, lack of feelings, lack of self-love, preference to pain and suffering due to unworthiness, superiority, ignorance, ignoring love, thinking you know better, and arrogance. And they continue on with the ego death ceremony. Fire is an important element to use with transformation, as fire purifies, releases, and renews. Then I'm not even joking. They give the exact same example. They give the exact same example here, except the traits are different. So, they say reflect on the following ego traits and which ones you feel you need to transform, along with the other ones we just read. Gossip, entitlement, jealousy, self-importance, vanity, delusions of grandeur, lack of beauty, which I'm not really sure what that is, fantasy, desire, needing to be right, validation, controlling, wanting to follow or be followed, which is funny coming from people running a cult, ungrateful, no accountability, fake, poverty consciousness, always thinking in lack, reverence of the mind, reverence of animals, addiction to sugar, justification, linear thinking and acting, procrastination, externalization/projection, bargaining, and princess conditioning, which I gotta go to Disney World to find out what that one is? I don't understand. And we are on page 6 out of 6, where they continue on with the ego death ceremony. They say, after you burn your ceremony, you will likely experience emotions, triggers, and old memories or habits come up. This is the energy coming up for healing as you have brought awareness, which allows the transformation of consciousness. What they mean by after you burn your ceremony is you're writing all of these things down on a piece of paper. that piece of paper is your ceremony, and you actually do throw it into a fire somewhere. But don't you wish it was just so easy as to write down problems and burn them and then they would just disappear? Because these guys believe that that's what you can do, and it's almost like a form of magic. So once again, they say an example ceremony is below, in which you say the exact same blurb. So you obviously do have to say this exact blurb and then list off these ego traits. As they say, I release the following ego traits. It's funny to me, though, that they didn't just say, like, write this down and then list your ego traits. They're trying to make it sound like it's just an example that you can or can't follow, you know. But it's the exact same all 3 times. Again, except for the ego traits. So it says, reflect on the following ego traits and which ones you feel you need to transform. And it starts off strong over here with bitch conditioning, whatever that means. Asshole conditioning, which that just sounds like you're getting your bum bleached. I don't know what's wrong with doing that. Control dramas, intimidator, anal retentive, aloof, severe impatience, interrogator, easily distracted, victim, poor me, quitter, inconsistent, complaining, laziness, complacent, reactive, judgment, and denial. So again, you write the blurb and then you go through this list and you decide what traits you feel like you have or that your ego has that you want to get rid of. Write them on a piece of paper, and with fire, that important element, you throw the paper into the fire, it burns up, and that's how you have a funeral for your ego. And that was all 6 pages of Ego Death Ceremony Guide, a guide to ego dissolvement and transformation, which is by the 5D Full Disclosure Cult, and it's in their little library. Linked down below. You're gonna see a pattern of them thinking that if they write stuff down on paper and then set it on fire, it actually does something, like solves an issue, transforms them in some way, takes away problems, that kind of thing. It's a running theme here. They do all kind of believe that they have these like magical sorts of powers, because after all, they do keep on reincarnating to go on this ascension journey, right? And it's to get close to Source, Mother God. And so she's given them all powers, if you will. But that is what they mean when they say that you're to do an ego ceremony. You are doing what I guess could be considered a funeral for your so-called ego, for your ego, by writing things down on paper and then setting the paper on fire. Fun, huh? For your ego. Let me know what you think about this down below. Be sure to check out all of my other 5D Full Disclosure, Joy Reigns, and Love Has Won content in order to learn more about this cult. We are going to continue on in our deep dive, so be sure to stay tuned to my channel, and no matter where you are or what you're doing, I hope that you all have a fabulous rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you all very, very soon with another one. Mwah! Bye! And remember, don't join this. This is a cult. That's right, we're having a funeral for our egos. For your ego.